We have the second reading public hearing of ordinance number 2007-14, which is an ordinance amending the Northeast Ventnor Redevelopment Plan, Chapter 180A.
This time, before we proceed with the public hearing, there are some amendments to that plan that have been made in cooperation with the subcommittee and the planning board. So at this time, I'd like Dick Carter, our city engineer and planner, to review those amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the planning board met last night and recommended some 5 minor changes to the recommendations that were presented approximately a month ago and introduced to the governing body. In summary, the changes are that there's a reduction from 17 parcels to the 7 designated redevelopment parcels. There's elimination of the RR1 district entirely from the plan and reversion to the original R7 district. The changes that were made last night were specifically that to allow rehabilitation of existing multifamily dwellings in the commercial mixed-use district, provided there is a reduction in unit density as determined by the planning board. The additional requirement that was changed last night was clarification by allowing new multifamily residential construction in the commercial mixed-use district that the parking must meet the RSIS standards for the amount of on-site parking. And the last change was the permission of elevator shafts and mechanical rooms as exceptions to the building height not higher than 10 feet above the permitted height. There were a couple minor spelling changes, but they were just not substantial to the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. We also have with us tonight 2 members of the subcommittee of the planning board that put this amendment together. Julie Milo, who's the chairman of the subcommittee, and John Van Dyne, who was a member. Also on that subcommittee was Chief Bert Sabo. So we may direct any questions that the public may have to them. So at this time, I'd like to open up for, oh wait, I'm sorry. We need to make those amendments, Madam Clerk.
At this particular point, you're going to make a motion, if you wish, before you open your public hearing, or you may hear your public hearing.
So may I have a motion to have the amendments as read by Mr. Carter?
I'll make a motion to add the amendments.
Second.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Vespertino.
Yes.
Mayor Price.
Yes. At this time, I'd like now to open up the meeting to a public hearing on the proposed ordinance and the amendments. Is there anyone from the public like to address the commission on the proposed ordinance? Can you just get the microphone, name and address for the record?
Bert Lopez, Hispanic Alliance of Atlantic County, 102 North Chelsea Avenue, Atlantic City. I just want to remind council that the Hispanic Alliance brought action regarding the redevelopment, and certainly we came to an agreement. Part of that agreement was that the city was to inform us on a condition of this dismissal was to provide Hispanic Alliance with periodic updates to the status of redevelopment. The only reason I know that there's something happening is because I got a call from a reporter informing us that this was on the agenda. No one from the city informed us of the changes that were taking place. Happy to see that eminent domain seems to be out of the picture, but the action was not just about eminent domain. It was also the identification of this particular part of town, and the fact that some of these buildings and some of the units and affordable rental units were taken off the market. We have brought action, and the city had agreed to provide 20% affordable housing within that redevelopment area. Part of the original action had to do with the lack of communication, and now we're creeping back up in that aspect of it again. We would have liked to have been informed of the action that are taking place. We do not know exactly what the impact is of, or the parcels that are being taken out, but if could ask the gentleman here who reported that the 17 parcels that are originally part of redevelopment, they're still in the redevelopment, saying about you eliminating some of the parcels. Is that correct?
I'll let Julie.
Do we have a map here?
Yeah. We're not doing it. Is that a point or not?
So basically what I'm going to put up is the old map and the new map, so you can kind of see the differences. And this will be posted on the Becker website also, so everybody can see. The recommended changes were published in the Current about a month ago, and they have been posted on the website probably for about 3 to 4 weeks. So it was out there and, was published. But basically, the differences are, the yellow zone, which is the R1 zone, is completely being removed, okay? So that is there was a misconception that this area was eligible for eminent domain. It never was. So in order to clear up that misconception, the reason it was originally in there was so that we could apply for grants and things like that, but since those things never came through, we eliminated the yellow area entirely, okay? The other change is that this section, which is the RR2 zone, which was targeted previously, is now still in the redevelopment area, but it's no longer targeted anyway for the possibility of eminent domain. It is, however, left in because we're going to offer tax abatements in that area for people that bring their properties up to code. The red area is the CMU, which is the commercial mixed use. And in that area previously, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 9 parcels in the red area. That is going down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in the CMU zone. And we're adding residential as a use there because it was never really specifically addressed before. So we're basically shrinking it down, looking at individual parcels, and trying to offer incentives to bring the properties up to code as opposed to using eminent domain. We're trying to work with voluntary property owners to bring in projects on their own, offer incentives where we can. We're going to apply for an RAD district, which is a revenue allocation for streetscape funds down the center. And what we're really shooting for is, as people bring their properties up to code, we want to roll them out of the redevelopment zone altogether.